Guys, Bradley here. We are back with the Saleen. We've got some things that we're going to try and get knocked out today. As you'll see back over there, the rear bumper is back. So we're going to work on getting that mounted today. But then we also have a box here from JLT. So we're going to be swapping out the intake setup that's on here. I've never really been a big fan of how this has been set up. So today we're going to take care of that. We got a few more things coming on the way that you'll see later in the video. So let's get started. So we'll take a look here at the rear bumper first. As you can see, it's been completely repainted. It is a little dusty. It's been sitting here and the garage has been open. But you'll see everything looks pretty much brand new. Of course, there is no lettering here, so we're going to have to put that back on, which is no problem. I've got brand new lettering inside in the house. But you'll see everything is good. Here was our main kind of problem area where things got messed up. Of course, this is all fixed. We also had another spot that was over here in this area that I only can assume happened during that because I don't remember it ever being there. But that was fixed as well. So everything's pretty much brand new. We also have the screen inserts here, which we'll have to put back in. They were just kind of blasted real quick with a fresh coat of matte black. So those inserts will go back in here. But there is something different that I'm going to do, and I want to copy a setup that was done on Turdzilla, and that is using some just metal aluminum bars there, and we're going to drill some holes in it, use some nice hardware, and mount it up a little bit better, a little straighter on the back of my car, because truth be told, Turdzilla sits way better, and I want to make it look just as good as that car does. Here is our box from JLT. We got all sorts of stuff. So we've got, looks like some couplers, some instructions. We don't need that. Where we're going. We've got a little plate that's going to go here for the between where the filter is going to go through the fender. Judging by the wetness of this box, I'd say that's probably the filter. And then we also have, of course, kind of the main piece, our pipe, which is going to go from our throttle body, and then we'll go down into the fender. Now, this is the high boost version of the JLT intake. So, I mean, this will definitely not be a limiting factor of any power. We will have to figure out how we can block this off. That's going to be part of the agenda today, is figuring out how we can block that off. And then this is a rubber insert for an IAT sensor. Of course, we don't need that either, so that's going to get capped off as well. So I probably will pop this out, find a solid insert, and put that in there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we're looking at right now. So we'll go ahead and start getting the other stuff off of the car, and then we'll kind of mock this up, take a look, and see what we need to do to make this work. Status update here. We've got our plug in up there at the top, and then we've also got our plug here at the MAF, which obviously we don't have one, so no need for that. And then we've got our plug down here. I did shave them down on the inside, so it is relatively flush. Obviously, this is a pretty big passage, so I don't think we're going to have to really worry about, you know, any kind of issues with airflow. In terms of this setup, we're all good. I'm going to go up into the attic, grab a little bit of spare hose that I have for the idle air control valve, and then what we're going to do is loop that here. We'll loop it kind of down underneath the throttle body, underneath the intake pipe, and then it'll 90-degree right into that, and we should be all set with the idle air control valve. And then we can throw the filter on. I've already got the kind of block off plate there where the pipe goes through, and then we've got a filter sock on the way, which will be here in a little bit, and that's just to kind of help give it some extra waterproofing. Since it is in the fender liner is not in the best condition on this car. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And of course, I've got these vents up here in the front, so with us getting ready to go to Mustang Week, I just want to make sure that it's got its best chance of not getting soaked, and of course not sucking water into my engine. This thing is huge. I mean, this is probably the biggest filter I've ever seen. We also just got delivered this JLT wrap. I don't really know if this is going to do much of anything. I just, you know, it gives me some extra peace of mind that it'll help it, you know, have some extra water repellency, if that's even a word, or resistance. So we'll kind of wrap this thing up in there, and then this is gonna go, not sure if you can see it, but it'll go up in there on the intake. This is pretty much everything is all installed here. It's, you know, going through our kind of block off area here. Here is our setup connected to the throttle body, and then here is our IAC setup. This is just a hose kind of looping around, goes under the intake, comes out, goes to the factory silencer box, and then attaches. It's not the prettiest, but I've seen way worse. It's also all black, so it's not really super noticeable. But I will say overall, here in the engine bay, things look a lot nicer. That intake really changes how this looks. So pretty happy with how that's going. We're gonna go ahead and get that slapped in, and we'll fire the car up real quick, make sure it runs, make sure it's happy, and then we'll get to working on our rear bumper. As you can see, car is running, started up flawlessly. Obviously no vacuum leaks, although granted this is on volumetric efficiency. We're using a map sensor, so it wouldn't really make a big difference if there was a vacuum leak. We don't even technically have to have this intake on for the car to run. But we're idling good. I'm not gonna let it warm up, but see, it sounds pretty good. Get a listen down here. So sounds pretty good. Seems pretty happy. I'm gonna shut it off before it gets too hot, because we're going to start working on getting the rear bumper reinstalled on the car. So I've taken a little break from recording just to kind of work on getting some things in. This is our mesh. So we've got those two in, these two are in, I have this one left, and then I have these two, which are already in. I'm having to be pretty careful because the hardware is longer, of course, than how thick this material is. So I've just got this one left, and then I'm going to work on getting our big metal bar that's gonna go here and is going to help support the bottom, and then we'll have to make something that will run from this bar up to the underside of the car. A quick update, we've got this bar, this nice metal aluminum rod is drilled in and attached to the bottom, so it looks pretty clean underneath. What we're going to do now is get the rear bumper back on, and then we've got a little bit of this metal kind of rod that we're going to bend and cut and get it kind of lined up on the crash bar. That way it's supported. Well, we've got the rear bumper reinstalled all the way. It's looking pretty good now. All the trunk is put back together, so pretty much all we have left is I'm gonna ceramic coat the rear bumper, and then I've got to put the lettering back on the rear. In the meantime, though, before I do that, we've got ourselves a new steering wheel. This is the FR 500 style steering wheel from LMR, and it's gonna replace our rather worn out factory steering wheel. So we're gonna yank that off of there, swap it out with this nice brand new one. First step's going to be pulling off the negative battery terminal. You see, I've got that off. We're gonna let the car sit for a little bit. I put a glove there just to kind of separate it between the terminal and the post. So now with that all separated, once we've let the car sit for a little bit, we're going ahead and take out the two 8mm bolts that are on either side of the steering wheel. The airbag will then come out. Then we're gonna have a bolt that we're gonna break loose on the inside here of the steering wheel, which is what attaches the steering wheel to the steering shaft. Once that's off, we'll then look and see if we actually need a steering wheel puller, which some people said we do need. Other people said we can just kind of give it a little yank and it should come off. So here in the car, we've got the airbag off now. Came off pretty easily, just one plug. That's it. This is a T50. I don't have a T50. I used a T45. It worked. It didn't strip it. So we're not going to take this bolt out all the way, because what we're going to do here is try and see if we give the steering wheel a solid wiggle, see if it will come off. If it won't come off, then of course we'll go pick up a proper tool, a steering wheel puller from Advanced or something. But I figured it was worth trying to see if this would come off this way first. after a bunch of time sitting there grinding some tabs that are here where the cruise control buttons are, even though my cruise control has never worked and still won't work even after installing this, we've got it all together. So everything is packaged up in one piece again. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing reinstalled on the car, and we'll throw our airbag on and be able to see how this thing looks for the first time. All right, so we got our steering wheel installed. As you see, it looks great, nice and new, and it's gonna feel good being able to drive this around now. Won't have my hand turning black from, you know, it tearing up here and melting and all that. Overall, just has a great feel. You can see it's actually a little bit thicker, which is nice. It's got some extra cushion, which feels really good, so I'm pretty happy about that. If you're looking for a more detailed video on how to install this, I'll leave a link down below to LMR where I bought this, as well as where you can find a better video on how to install this. It did take a little bit of work, but it wasn't too bad. And if you're looking for a video on how to install the intake in more detail, maybe not necessarily on a Saleen like me, but on a Cobra or something else, I'll drop a link down for that as well. But I'm overall super happy with how this is looking. Now I've just got this mess to clean up and that tool to take back, which I didn't end up actually needing after getting a little frustrated with it and just giving it a yank. It came right off. But yeah, everything is looking pretty good. Rear bumper's on, steering wheel is on, new intake is on. I mean, everything is pretty much dialed in. I'm really happy with this and how the car is starting to look. All I've really got left, as I mentioned earlier, is doing the lettering here on the rear bumper, which I'm going to get to. Probably not in this video, I'll do that off camera, just because it's going to take some time to get it straight and looking right. But yeah, that's pretty much some of the last stuff that I need to do to get this car ready before Mustang week. I just need to give it a wash, get it retuned for 93 and the flex fuel system dialed in, and we'll be all set. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment down below. Been trying to do some more content lately. We've got some more exciting content coming up for Mustang week. I've been hyping it up. I'm really excited. I've never been. This is going to be my first year, but I'm really excited to see how it goes. We're going with some good friends, and it's going to be a blast. So if you're excited for those videos, make sure you get subscribed if you're not already so you don't miss them. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.